You are marvelous. The gods wait to delight. Beware those who seek constant crowds, for they are nothing alone. Beware the average man, the average woman. Beware their love. Their love is average, seeks average. They will attempt to destroy anything that differs from their own. Not being able to create art, they will not understand art. Stay out of the clutches of mediocrity. Invent yourself, and then reinvent yourself. Change your tone and shape so often that they can never categorize you. Reinvigorate yourself and accept what is, but only on the terms that you have invented and reinvented. Be self-taught and reinvent your life because you must. It is your life, and its history and the present belong only to you. Your life is your life. Don't let it be clubbed into dank submission. There are ways out. There is a light somewhere. It may not be much light, but it beats the darkness. Be on the watch. The gods will offer you chances. Know them. Take them. He can't beat death, but he can beat death in life, sometimes. And the more often you learn to do it, the more light there will be. You are marvelous. The gods wait to delight. Beware those who seek constant crowds, for they are nothing alone. Beware the average man, the average woman. Beware their love. Their love is average, seeks average. They will attempt to destroy anything that differs from their own. Not being able to create art, they will not understand art. Stay out of the clutches of mediocrity. Invent yourself, and then reinvent yourself. Change your tone and shape so often that they can never categorize you. Reinvigorate yourself and accept what is, but only on the terms that you have invented and reinvented. Be self-taught and reinvent your life because you must. It is your life, and its history and the present belong only to you. if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. All the others are a test of your endurance, of how much you really want to do it. And you'll do it, despite rejection and the worst odds. And it will be better than anything else you can imagine. If you're going to try, go all the way. This could mean...
Okay, so we are live. We're gonna be hitting things straight away, and we're not going to take much time today because we're supposed to have this session yesterday, but unfortunately I was facing network issues, so I had to reschedule the session to today. So please, if you can hear me, let me know in the comment section. If you can hear me, let me know in the comment section before we continue. So last week we started the series, the First Class series, where I said I'm going to be going on a series discussing how you can get first class grades easily as a student, whether you are a fresher or you are a stellite. What are the strategies you need in order for you to be able to secure first class grades, in order for you to be able to secure at least second class upper grades in the university? So last week we talked about mistakes that most people make that prevent them from getting these first class grades. We also talked about what you should do in order for you to be able to secure first class grades. What are the things that you should do? So tonight we want to dive into the aspect of reading. So we're going to be looking at what I call the retention code. What are the strategies that would help you read a lot better, not stress too much over the reading, and still be able to get good grades? So remember I said something last week, which was that excelling in the university, getting good grades, first class grades, second class upper grades and stuff is not something that comes by chance. It's not something that comes by luck. You have to know how to go about it. You have to know what you need to do in order for you to be able to get it. And some of the things that you need to learn is how you read. I explained one thing last week, that the first thing you need to work on is your mindset. The mindset that you have from secondary school is not going to be the same thing you're going to apply when you get to university. Things are going to be different. So if you are coming with the mentality of how you usually read or how you read in your secondary school days, once you get to the university, the first thing is you are going to have a lot of handouts, a lot of PDFs to read. So you have to change your strategies. You have to improve on your strategies. So that is what we're going to discuss here today. So we're not going to take much time, probably between 30 to 45 minutes, because I still have another session that I have to join latest by 9:30 or 9:40. But I need to hold this session today because we didn't hold it yesterday, which was the time we're supposed to hold it. Okay. So what are reading techniques that you can employ, that you can use, that would help you make this university stuff a lot easier, no matter the amount of the PDFs you have, no matter the amount of the PDFs or the handouts? It's going to make it easier for you to read and still get first class grades. Remember, I told you, it's not just about putting in much effort. No, yes, it's important, but you can apply strategies that will make things a lot easier for you. So there are so many techniques. You can use, okay? We have more than 10, but I'm going to be taking them step by step. So as I'm taking them step by step, you can now decide, okay, I like this one. This one resonates with me better, and decide to apply that one. Or let's say I teach a second strategy. Maybe it's that second strategy you like. You can start to apply it little by little by little until you master it and it becomes a part of you, and your reading, your entire educational process becomes a lot easier. The first technique you need to learn as a university student that would help you a lot, will not make your reading too stressful. I'm going to start from the basic one. The first one is what I call the 80-20 study principle. Let's start from there. The 80-20 study principle. Because your handouts, the handouts you'll be given in university, the PDFs, they are so much. We all know they are much. But remember, I told you something last week, which was that you need to move closer to seniors. Why? For so many reasons, but one of the reasons I mentioned was to be able to get past questions, things they've done before. Get past questions from those things. Now, the 80-20 principle is a general principle. It's not just limited to education. It's a principle that implies that you can apply 20% effort and get 80% results. Now, that is what we want in your education. If you have a PDF of over 300, 400, 500 pages, how are you expected to read all that PDF? But you can get past questions, and with that past question, you apply the 80-20 study principle, which is that you are going to focus on 20% of your handout, which are mainly on things that comes out in exams or tests. And how do you know those things that come out in exams or tests? You use past questions. So you focus more attention on those topics, those questions, those subtopics that come out more in your past questions. You study them as much as you can, because most likely these lecturers repeat these questions. These lecturers repeat their questions. So you study them very well before you even go to any other topics. You focus on those ones first. Focus on them very well. You study. That's the 80-20 principle. Now, when you focus on them as much as you can, now if you have extra time, let's say you have more time, you might now decide to focus on other topics that are not in the past question. Remember, I told you for you to get A, it's not compulsory you get 100. You just have to know how you calculate it. You want to get 70 something, 80 something, 70 to 100 is A. Now, if you apply this 80-20 principle, there are two things that could happen. The first one is that your test questions or your exam questions, most of the things that will come out will be what you've read on. Most of the things that you see will be all those things that you've read on. The second thing that could happen is the exam will come out. Some of the things that will be there, or most of the things that will be there, are things that you've read using the 80-20 principle. Then you might see some things that you've not read, but they will just be few. Our main goal using the 80-20 study principle is that you want to study more of what will come out in the exam or the test questions. So that is the first technique. So as a student, you just got into university or you're a Stellite, the first thing you need to do is get previous past questions on that course. Look at the questions that usually come out, get your PDFs or your handouts or whatever, and decide to read on those topics that mostly come out in the exam. Read more on them from day one. You start reading more on them. Use the past questions to practice one or two questions. Practice. So you focus on 20% of the handouts that come out more in exams or more in tests or whatever. And then if you have time, you still read some parts that may not be in the exam questions. So at the end of the day, when it is time for your assessment, your exam, or your test, you're going to discover, you're going to find out that most of the things that will come out will be what you've read. Now, that's the first technique. The second technique, I'm going to take it step by step. The second technique you can apply is something called the Pomodoro's method. The Pomodoro's method. I want to write down some things. The Pomodoro's method. Now, I would advise you that you should take method 1, the 80-20 principle. Any technique you decide to choose to read in university, 80-20 principle should be the fundamental, should be the basis, should be the basic technique. Any technique you want to use to read, you must know that first thing I need to apply the 80-20 principle, which means study more of what will come out, study 20% of your handout that will give you 80% results, that will come out 80% in exam. Now, the second principle, which is the Pomodoro's method, is simple, and here is how it works. After you've applied the 80-20 principle, you now know the topics you want to read on. You've highlighted all those topics out. Pomodoro's method is a way of making your reading a lot easier, because for each topic in your handout, there are going to be a lot of things that you need to cover. So many things that you need to cover. There's so much. Yes, we know. But there's a way you can break down that reading. And that is where the Pomodoro's method comes in. Pomodoro's method simply means you break down your reading into portions called Pomodoros. So let's say there's a particular topic is about 16 pages, for instance. You are going to divide that 16 pages. Let's say you want to read two pages. So first 2 pages, that's 1 Pomodoro. The next 2 pages, that's another Pomodoro. The next 2 pages, that's the third Pomodoro, like that. So you're going to decide, how do you want to portion, how do you want to divide what you want to read? Then you spend 25 minutes on the first portion. Let's say the first portion is 3 pages or 4 pages. I want to spend 25 minutes on 3 pages. I want to read 3 pages for 25 minutes. You focus, you read it, you try to master it. Then you give yourself 5 minutes break. You're going to give yourself 5 minutes break to rest, or 5 to 10 minutes. So once you rest, and when I say rest, it does not mean you rest, you want to go and start watching TikTok, or you want to go and start playing stuff. No. You try to rest your brain so that you can digest what you've just read. Now, after your break, after that 5 to 10 minutes break, you go back and see if you can recall what you've read under the first portion that you've read. See if you can try to recall or grasp from it. Then you move to the next portion, maybe the next 3 pages. You also read that one for 25 minutes. Then you have break, 5 to 10 minutes break. You go again to the next portion, 5 to 10 minutes break. You go again to the next portion, 5 to 10 minutes break. You do it like that for 4 portions. After 4 successive portions, you've read the first 3 pages, rest. Second 3 pages, rest. Third 3 pages, rest. Fourth 3 pages, you rest. After those 4, you are now going to have a long break of about 20 to 25 to 30 minutes. Maybe then you can go and rest, go and chill with some friends, maybe, relax, play and stuff. You now come back after that period of rest to check if what you have read for over an hour now, can you still recall it? So you're going to come back and check what you've read. Can you still remember? Can you still recall what you've read? You have to check it. So that is the system of Pomodoro's method. So after you have now finished 4 Pomodoros, you've rested, you come back and check if you can recall everything you've read before you move on to the next portions. Remember, I said the first thing is your your 80-20 study principle. That's the first method that you have to lay down as your fundamental. Then you can build Pomodoro's method on that. So that's the first two methods that you can use to read well if you want to get really, really good grades, sound first class grades. Then the third method that I want to explain is what I call the Feynman's technique. Now, this is a very good method. If you are somebody that most times you read something and you easily forget what you read, something like that, is a very, very good method. And what does this method entail? If you want to use the Feynman's technique, first thing first, remember the 80-20 study principle. You must have that one down. You must have the 80-20 study principle down. Now, once you have the 80-20 study principle, then here's how Feynman's technique works. After you've read whatever it is you want to read, whatever it is you want to read, if you want to use Feynman's technique, we have talked about the 80-20 principle. I've talked about the Pomodoro's method. Now I'm on Feynman's technique. But like I said, your fundamental should be the 80-20 principle. Now, here's how Feynman's technique works. Whatever it is you want to read, you read it for whatever time it is you want to read it. Then you try to teach it to other people. You try to explain it to other people. If you don't have people you can explain to, if you don't have people you can teach to, you can just, create a kind of as if you are teaching imaginary people. Try to explain that thing that you just read. Try to explain it. Okay, today we are going to explain so and so topic. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. You try to explain what you just read. The advantage with this Feynman's technique is that when you explain something that you've read, that you've mastered, you try to explain it. Whenever you need it, probably during exam period or test period, and you are forgetting that thing you just read, you are forgetting it, the experience from that teaching would come. So let's say you are reading, what can I use? Let's say you are reading something on adverb, for instance, for example, and after you've read it, you explained it to others, or you did something like an imaginary explanation class to explain that thing. You are now in exam hall, and in the exam hall, you forget a particular aspect from what you just read. You might not remember that thing instantly, but you will remember that, okay, when I was trying to explain this thing to people, or maybe I was trying to teach an imaginary audience, I said it like this. It's going to come at that moment. That is the advantage of Feynman's technique. In fact, that is the technique that I use mostly. Whenever, I run tutorials. So whenever I read something, I teach it to people in tutorials. So most times, in case maybe there's an instance where I want to forget that thing during exam hall, I will remember that, okay, I taught it like this. I taught it like this. It will come back and it aids the exam a lot. So that's the Feynman's technique. Feynman's technique is just that whenever you read something, after you have read it, try to teach it to other people. If you don't have people you can teach, create like an imaginary class. Let's say you're just in your room, you face your mirror, and try to explain that thing you've just read. Okay, I just read something on adverbs. Okay, this is adverb. You try to explain. You are programming your brain to retain that thing and to connect whatever you've read with experience from when you were teaching it. That's what you are doing. So if you read a particular topic and you try to explain it, whether to real people or to an imaginary audience, by the time you are doing exam or test or any stuff and you forget that thing, your brain will recall that when I was explaining, I said it like this. So it's going to connect it to the answer or whatever it is you need at that moment. That is the advantage of the Feynman's technique. So once you start with the 80-20 study principle first, which is that you focus more attention on topics that come out in past questions. Read them first. So that one is going to help you highlight all those topics out. Then, once you have them down, if you now want to use the famous technique, so you are going to go and read on those topics, then try to explain. If you look at all what I've been explaining so far, you can build on them. You start with the 80-20 principle, like I've just explained. Then you move on to Pomodoro's method. And what is the Pomodoro's method? You break down whatever it is you want to read into portions. Let's say you want to read 15 pages for 2 hours. You break it down, 3 pages, 3 pages, 3 pages, 3 pages in 5 places. That will be 15 pages. So let's say you spend 25 minutes or 30 minutes to read the first 3 pages. You are going to rest for about 5 to 10 minutes. Then you go back. After that rest, you read the next 3 pages. You are going to rest again for about 5 to 10 minutes, like that, until you finish the portions. When you finish 4 portions, you rest for about 20 minutes. Now, if you have rested for about 20 minutes, you can now even apply Feynman's technique. And what does Feynman's technique say? That thing you've read, try to teach it to people or explain it to an imaginary audience if you don't have people that you can teach that stuff. Okay, so you can apply those 3 together. It's going to help you a lot. Another method that I want to explain, in case maybe you might like that one or maybe you don't like the ones I've been talking about so far, is the Leitner's method. The Leitner's method of reading. How does Leitner's method work? If you want to use Leitner's method, you are going to need to have what we call flashcards. In Nigeria, there are some, small colored books like this. They come in many colors, maybe pink, yellow, so many colors. You're going to have them. So when you are reading your notes, let's say it's a particular or better still, if you get your past questions, you know the topics that questions usually come on from the past questions. You go to your notes, check. Okay, this question was asked in the past question. What's the answer in the note? You are going to paste that flashcard on that answer in the note and write the answer there. Or as you are reading, there is a particular key point that you saw in your book, or maybe during lecture, the lecturer was kept on hammering on that particular point. You place your flashcard on that page of your note or your handout and you write down that part. So as you are reading, if you see key points or you are reading with past questions, you see some particular kind of questions in your past question and you check the answer, it is in your handout. You can maybe your notes that you're using to read, you paste the flashcard there and write that particular thing. The advantage of this Leitner's method is that when it is time for exam or test, when you want to do quick revision, you cannot go and revise your entire notes. It's not possible for you to say, okay, I want to open my entire notes and revise my entire notes. It's not possible. But you can go over those flashcards. Okay, this flashcard, this is what I wrote here. Quickly read it. The next flashcard, this is what I wrote here. You quickly read it. The next flashcard, this is what I wrote here. You quickly read it. You go over those flashcards. It's going to help in refreshing what you've read much easier than going through the entire notes. You can see that this Leitner's method, you can also build on it. If you start with the 80-20 principle, then you are using Pomodoro's method where you break down your book into portions. So while you are reading that book in portions, you use the Leitner's method too. That is, you are using flashcards. Maybe as I'm reading for my first 25 minutes, I see some points, put flashcard there, write that point out. You go to the next 25 minutes, you are reading, you see another point, put your flashcard there, write down that point. So now, as you are using your flashcards, and you are reading, you have divided that book into sections. You are reading with your flashcards, When you now want to apply Feynman's technique, what does that mean? You want to explain what you've read. In case you forget something, you can quickly go back to the flashcard and check. Okay, I wrote this thing down. I forgot it when I was trying to explain. It's going to come back. It will make it much easier for you when you are trying to re-explain it back. So we've talked about 4 techniques now that are going to help you. Let's say, because I got a lot of DMs from people this week where some people will say, okay, they try to read, but it does not enter. Some will say, the PDFs are much. How do they read it? Some students that are in higher levels, probably 200 level, 300 level, they say, okay, when they try to read, you know, by the time they get to exam hall, they forget what they read. So these are some of the techniques that you should be applying. The first one that I explained is the 80-20 principle. The second one is the Pomodoro's method. The third one is the Feynman's technique. Then the fourth one I explained is the Leitner's method. Like I said in the beginning of this session, that we're not going to take too much time today, probably just 30 minutes, because I have another session that I need to be at. Okay, so next week we're going to continue. I'm going to talk about other methods, but I'm also going to introduce AI methods, because we need to start using AI a lot, especially if you're a fresher. Most of the things, ask most people, they use a lot of AI. There are so many ways that um, AI can help you make your reading a lot easier and help you pass better. I made a post one time on TikTok. That post went really viral, where I was talking about a particular AI prompt that once you just prompt that AI into ChatGPT with your PDF, the PDF that you want to read or your handout, you just prompt it into ChatGPT. ChatGPT is going to give you summary of the main points, or to just get to the main points that you need to read, even give you possible questions. So those are other techniques. But tonight we talked about 4 techniques. We talked about the 80-20 principle. We talked about Pomodoro's method, Feynman's method, and Leitner's method. If you're just joining the session now, you can just take your time to go back a little so that you can catch up with what I've explained. These things are things that you don't see them anywhere. You don't really see them anywhere. People don't come out to explain these things like this. They don't come out to put these things together like this. But if you are getting something like this now, it's a very good advantage, in the sense that it's going to help you a lot. It will ease your reading, and once your reading is a lot easier, getting first class grades will also be a lot easier. Okay, so we're going to stop the session now. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments before we go. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. If you're just joining us now, you might need to just take your time. The session is not, tonight's session is not long. It's not 1 hour plus. It's just within 25 to 30 minutes. So just take your time. Drag the video back. So the video is still going to be on YouTube. I'm not taking it down, so that you can learn some of the things that we explained while we were not here. If you have any questions, drop them before we leave. No questions? Okay, so in the absence of questions, I'm going to end the live stream now. Again, if you are just joining the live session and you are not able to catch up with a lot, I would advise you to just take the video a little, take the video back and watch it. It's not going to take much of your time. Within 25 to 30 minutes, you'll be done. And whatever you have or anything, you drop them in the comments. Okay, so we'll meet again by this time next week Friday. 9 p.m. I'm going to send the flyer on what we're going to do by next week Friday. And I would advise you to always keep up. Is a free session. You are not paying for it. It's very free, and it's on things that will really help you get first class grades and second class upper grades and stuff. So we're going to end the session now. Thank you so much. I'm going to play the montage video that I played the last time. So just
Your life is your life. Don't let it be clubbed into dank submission. There are ways out. There is a light somewhere. It may not be much light, but it beats the darkness. Be on the watch. The gods will offer you chances. Know them. Take them. He can't beat death, but he can beat death in life, sometimes. And the more often you learn to do it, the more light there will be. You are marvelous. The gods wait to delight. Beware those who seek constant crowds, for they are nothing alone. Beware the average man, the average woman. Beware their love. Their love is average, seeks average. They will attempt to destroy anything that differs from their own. Not being able to create art, they will not understand art. Stay out of the clutches of mediocrity. Invent yourself, and then reinvent yourself. Change your tone and shape so often that they can never categorize you. Reinvigorate yourself and accept what is, but only on the terms that you have invented and reinvented. Be self-taught and reinvent your life because you must. It is your life, and its history and the present belong only to you. If neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. All the others are a test of your endurance, of how much you really want to do it, and you'll do it, despite rejection and the worst odds, and it will be better than anything else you can imagine. If you're going to try, go all the way. This could mean losing girlfriend,